The day I retired, I believed I had earned peace after 43 years of hard work. Instead, I watched my own daughter slowly disappear from my life. The phone calls stopped. The weekend visits ended. Even my grandchildren stopped coming over. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I was becoming old. Maybe I was boring. Then one afternoon, she suddenly knocked on my door. She wasn't alone. Standing beside her was an expensive lawyer carrying a thick folder of legal documents. She smiled, not like a loving daughter, like someone who believed she had already won. She pushed the papers across the table. Just sign these, Dad. I looked at the documents. And my heart nearly stopped. But everything changed a few seconds later, because someone quietly walked into the room. The moment my daughter saw who was standing beside me, the color disappeared from her face. What happened next changed our family forever. Stay until the end, because no one expected what happened after that. For 43 years, I worked every single day. I never became rich. I never drove luxury cars. I never wore expensive suits. Everything I earned went toward one goal: giving my daughter the life I never had. When her mother passed away, she was only 8 years old. From that day forward, I became both father and mother. I packed school lunches, braided hair the best I could, attended every school event, worked overtime so she could attend college without debt. Every birthday, every Christmas, every graduation, I was always there. When she married, I paid for the wedding. When she bought her first house, I helped with the down payment. When her children were born, I became the grandfather who never missed a birthday. I believed family was forever. Then retirement came. My last paycheck arrived. My coworkers threw me a farewell party. Everyone congratulated me, but something else happened. People started treating me differently, especially my own daughter. She asked strange questions. Dad, how much pension do you actually get? Did you save enough? Are you going to sell the house? I laughed them off, but the questions kept coming. Then the visits became shorter. Soon they stopped completely. Weeks turned into months. My birthday came. No phone call, no card, no visit, only silence. That silence hurt more than any physical pain. Neighbors asked where my family was. I smiled and lied. They're busy. Deep inside, I knew something had changed. One evening I overheard two neighbors talking. I heard his daughter thinks he spent all his money. That sentence explained everything. She believed I was broke. She believed I had become a burden. Without money, I had become invisible. Months later, she finally returned. She wasn't smiling with love. She was smiling with confidence. Beside her stood a sharply dressed lawyer. He introduced himself politely, then placed several documents on my dining table. My daughter crossed her arms. Dad, these papers will make everything easier. I read the first page. Power of attorney, property transfer, financial authorization. She wanted complete control over everything I owned. She spoke gently. It'll help us take care of you. But something about her voice felt rehearsed. The lawyer waited quietly. Neither of them noticed the second cup of coffee already sitting on the table. I wasn't alone. I calmly asked, "Are you sure this is what you want?" She nodded immediately. "Yes." Then I smiled. "Please come in." Footsteps echoed down the hallway. A woman entered wearing a navy business suit. The lawyer instantly recognized her. His expression changed. He quietly whispered, "Oh no." My daughter looked confused, then terrified. The woman introduced herself. "My name is Sarah. I specialize in elder financial protection." She placed another folder on the table. Inside were records, bank statements, investment reports, property documents, trust agreements, everything. She looked directly at my daughter. "Your father is financially secure. He is not broke. He owns his home outright. He has retirement investments. He has protected savings. And he established legal safeguards months ago." The room became completely silent. My daughter's confident smile vanished. The lawyer slowly closed his briefcase. Sarah continued, "Your father contacted me after noticing changes in your behavior. He feared someone might pressure him into signing legal documents. So we prepared." Every word hit harder than the last. My daughter tried to explain. "Dad, I was only trying to help." Sarah calmly interrupted. "Then why were transfer documents prepared before discussing his wishes?" No one answered. The lawyer quietly apologized. He admitted he had prepared the paperwork based solely on his client's instructions. He gathered his files, then stood up. "I'm sorry, sir." He left. My daughter remained frozen. Tears filled her eyes. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Finally, she whispered, "I thought you needed me." I looked at her. No, I needed my daughter, not my money manager. She began crying harder than I had ever seen. She admitted everything. Her husband had convinced her I would eventually become financially dependent. They believed transferring assets early would protect the family. Instead, greed had destroyed trust. Weeks later, she came back, this time, without a lawyer, without paperwork, without expectations. She simply knocked on the door carrying homemade dinner. "I'm sorry." Those were the words I had waited months to hear. Trust wasn't rebuilt overnight. Forgiveness never happens instantly, but honesty became the first brick in rebuilding our relationship. Today, she visits every Sunday. Sometimes we don't even talk. We simply drink coffee together, and somehow, that silence feels completely different. Because now, I know she's there for me, not for what I own, but for who I am. Money can attract people. Character reveals them. The greatest inheritance parents leave behind isn't a house, a bank account, or investments. It's the values they teach. If someone only remembers you when they think you have money, they were never chasing your love. They were chasing your wallet. Value the people who stay when they believe you have nothing. Those are the ones worth keeping close. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who believes family should always come before money.